from 50 cents to 90 cents. The question is, will this be enough actually to alleviate some of the pressures that we might be expecting that will befell a number of these ride-hailing partners for Grab at the moment? Or is this just going to be enough to just soothe the pain momentarily?
Okay, I mean, what is 40 cents increase, if you ask me, it's like, it's almost 100% pass-through of the rise in the fuel price in Singapore. Okay, now will it completely, alleviate the pain for the drivers? We need to see. I guess it will alleviate at least more than 50% of the pain they are bearing. But to assume that completely it will, I think we need to wait and watch. I don't think so. But let's not hope that it goes to above $100. If it goes, because then what Grab is proposing, actually the management has said, what they have done in Singapore, they will also do in some of the other markets like Philippines and Vietnam, right? So essentially 50% of the business, more than 50% is from Malaysia and Indonesia, where fuel price is not an issue because it's subsidized, right? In the rest, 50% of the business, there is the pressure to the fuel price. And that is where management has said they will do the pass-through to the consumers. So in that sense, while we cannot say that the drivers will not have any impact, but I think Grab will manage much of the impact, bulk of the impact through this hike.
Yeah, I guess it also alludes to Grab's pricing power and its ability to pass on the price to consumers. And I'm assuming that this means that in Singapore, it's more easily absorbed. You might not say the same for emerging countries like the Philippines, Vietnam, or Indonesia, where they also operate such. And do you think it's going to be more difficult for them to conduct these? And if they do pass on a surcharge, might that actually affect the appeal or the appetite to do ride-hailing or ride-sharing in some of these lower income per capita countries that Grab operates in?
Actually, it's not true. And the reason I tell you is the public transport. In Singapore, we can substitute the ride-hailing with the public transport, excellent public transport, right? To some extent in Malaysia, right? Other markets, let's keep in mind that there's a lot of two-wheeler market, right? So in that sense, the pressure of the fuel price is less on the two-wheeler market than the four-wheeler market, and the lack of public infrastructure or the public transport is another issue, right? So I would say that elasticity is less than 1. There is some impact, some adverse impact, but it's not going to be huge. And in that sense, the pass-through of the costs actually is a good strategy. And we have done some analysis. Even if there's all the market, they do the pass-through, including Indonesia and Malaysia, which is yet not right because they are subsidized markets. Even then, the impact on Grab's adjusted EBITDA group level will be like 5-6% at most, right? Adverse impact due to this, the cost increase and the demand destruction, right, due to the higher price.
Okay. One solution I might think of right now is to perhaps accelerate the shift towards electric vehicles, which might be more dependent on electricity produced by natural gas. But again, Singapore itself can find more sources and up their sources from Australia and other markets, for instance. Is this something that will perhaps necessitate a faster shift towards some of these less fossil fuel dependent vehicles? And how difficult or costly will it be for Grab if they want to accelerate that particular transition?
So I think most of the new cars, if you look at the prices of all the electric vehicle makers, right, they have gone up, right? So essentially, this is a strategy which works very well in the medium term, right? For the short term, I think we have to first of all realize it's not such a big problem for Grab. It's a problem which can be managed very well through a 4-5% kind of a fuel surcharge, right? But you're right, in the medium term, they have to accelerate all this EV adoption. I mean, I don't see the pressure of the EV adoption on their numbers because essentially, if you look at the Chinese electric vehicle makers, they are not more expensive actually than those conventional cars. Mm-hmm. So I don't see a pressure because of the transition. Yeah.